Hey, sorry, I was still jamming out to the music that we have for the opening. Welcome to another exciting episode of Javier in the Air. Javier in the Air, not on the air. Welcome if this is your first time watching, and welcome back if it's not. So the music that you heard right now is some of that free music that I have from my editing software, which is Wondershare, and the name of the song is called Phantom. So I don't know how to look for it outside of Wondershare. So if you like it, just enjoy it here. So welcome to episode 11 of season 4. Have a good show for you today. Gonna have our trashy hood like we try to have every week, and by we I mean me. And I only got, I believe I got 2 or 3 days out this week. Was another crazy work week for myself, so didn't get as much as I wanted to. However, I do have a new part to put in to today's episode. I went out to a cidery on Friday and took a class on epoxy pouring. Yeah, the latest and greatest craze that's going on right now is epoxy pouring. So I got some good advice from two guys that were running it. I'll have it a little bit later on the show. So it might be something that I'd like to do more of. It seemed pretty straightforward. It's just a matter of learning to do it and trial and error. So I have some things that I want to do some trials on, and hopefully there won't be a lot of errors. So let's get into it, into our trashy hood. Dark Frog Social Media presents Trash in the Hood. Hey everybody, so this is week 35. I have days 3 and 4, the 2 days I made it out there. This one was a little interesting. Had a giant piece of tar paper underneath everything, a milk bottle, baby bottle, a bunch of different water bottles, beer cans, cartons, a bunch of yellow pieces of terracotta pot, and the obligatory cigarette butts, and some other things. You see, it's kind of messy there. This was an interesting one. It was behind the daycare center, and it was brought to you by the letters W and P for waste products, as you see there. A rubber ball, some White Claw, a full little mini can of Coke, bunch of various different receipts, and an old Christmas ornament, and then you see the the cigarette butts, and a broken sprinkler head. So it was a lot of craziness out there that day. Hey, sorry, I was still jamming out to the music that we have for the opening. Welcome to another exciting episode of Javier in the Air. Javier in the Air, not on the air. Welcome if this is your first time watching, and welcome back if it's not. So the music that you heard right now is some of that free music that I have from my editing software, which is Wondershare, and the name of the song is called Phantom. So I don't know how to look for it outside of Wondershare. So if you like it, just enjoy it here. So welcome to episode 11 of season 4. Have a good show for you today. Gonna have our trashy hood like we try to have every week, and by we I mean me. And I only got, I believe I got 2 or 3 days out this week. Was another crazy work week for myself, so didn't get as much as I wanted to. However, I do have a new part to put in to today's episode. I went out to a cidery on Friday and took a class on epoxy pouring. Yeah, the latest and greatest craze that's going on right now is epoxy pouring. So I got some good advice from two guys that were running it. I'll have it a little bit later on the show. So it might be something that I'd like to do more of. It seemed pretty straightforward. It's just a matter of learning to do it and trial and error. So I have some things that I want to do some trials on, and hopefully there won't be a lot of errors. So let's get into it, into our trashy hood. Okay, hey everybody, welcome to Healthy After 50. So for those of you who are new, welcome. this is a little section for, it can be for everyone. In fact, it definitely is for everyone. However, since I am over 50, I decided to have a little break line at the 50 points saying healthy after 50. So any of these exercises or any topics that I talk about can help anyone and everyone, but these are specifically, I'm shouting out to the people over 50. It's a little bit easier under 50 to get into shape or stay in shape, both physically and mentally and emotionally. Gets a little bit more difficult as we get older. So I've talked about a lot of things, and I have a lot of other things that list I'm trying to come up with of what else I should talk about. But I want to talk about those of us that are still in the workforce and some of the things that we might need to do or should do in order to stay a little bit healthy, even when it comes to being at work. So for those of you like me who sit down at their job, now those of you that are out there walking for your job, finishing house for a print shop, in a print shop itself, like more of the blue collar workers that are doing things, the wonderful trash guys that come and pick up all the trash. They're moving 24/7. They're walking all the time. What I recommend for these individuals, if you're listening, is to keep yourself safe, keep your joints as fluid as possible. If you feel pain, take something for it. If it's something that lingers for a long time, get yourself checked. So for those who are not blue collar worker like myself, I have a tendency to sit down 8-10 hours a day while I work, and that is not good. So what you should be doing is getting up once an hour, if you can, and really try your best to do that. Get up, walk around, stretch. Deep knee bends if your knees can take it. Stretch your arms out. The whole crack your back. Everything that you can to try to make sure that your body is staying as fluid as possible. And what I mean by fluid, I mean that it doesn't hurt when you move. So if you've been sitting in the same position for a long time and you get up and your butt hurts, that's not staying fluid. Your arms are stiff because they've been in the same position moving the mouse around, or the other one that doesn't do mouse is just sitting there in a crooked position. That's what I'm talking about. So try to get up at least every hour, more or less if you can, say 30 minutes, but get up, walk around, do some deep knee bends, do some stretches up against the wall, which later on this year I will be showing more exercises that you can do, and I'll do it out in the garage, and hopefully I'll have a camera assistant so I can get that done. So be mobile, stay mobile. The bane of our existence as we get older is that it gets harder and harder to stay fluid, to stay limber, to stay agile. And excuse me, we get lazy. We all do it. Even people that are, phenomenon and top athletes, even in their 50s and 60s, they start slowing down and why am I doing this and why should I be doing this and that sort of thing. So we need to keep a good motion going, even if I'm not saying go out there and try to lift 200 pounds right away. I'm not even saying you should lift 200 pounds at all. What I'm saying is you need to get out, do some stretches, do some walking around, walk the neighborhood like I do. Find a lake that you want to walk around. If you're a very social animal, find groups of people that will walk with you. There are tons of groups out there of people that will walk with you. Do some weights, do some more cardio than just walking if you want to. Definitely do some weights for your arms and for your shoulders, and for your back. Your back is very important. If you don't have any back problems yet, then you want to try to avoid that at all costs, because the back will put you out when you impact it and cause issues, and then you will just really won't even be able to walk, and you won't be able to do anything, and you're going to lose your agility and mobility. So we want to keep that going. So think about your exercises. If you're still working, top of every hour or bottom of every hour, get up and move around and do some stretches. You'll thank me for it. Thanks a lot. Okay, so we're moving good. Maybe about 10 and a half, 10 minutes in. So I want to try to get as much of that epoxy as I can for everyone. It was a great thing. Plus, I think I'll blend it in with the spirits because I was at a cidery. So I had some of the cider there. I had a flight and then I had another one. And I'll tell you a little bit about them, Moontower Cidery, and then also the guys who were out there doing the pour, epoxy pour. So let's go into our Zen moment. I've gotten some good feedback for that. Thank you for that. I enjoy doing the Zen moment myself. A little bit of solitude, a little bit of calming, a little bit of Zen. So here we go. Okay, and there you have our Zen moment for the day and the week. So, as I mentioned earlier, this past Friday, I went to a pour your own epoxy class where I learned a little bit about pouring epoxy resin from Sam and Colin, two guys that are out of out of Wisconsin. Have they either work for or own the company that up there where they are able to get I want to say refurbished, but it's locally sourced and it's also eco-friendly because they use wood that has already been brought down from adverse weather, people clearing out their yards or something like that, and they go out and find this wood and they bring it back. And they have their own kiln there. They have their own little mill there, and they have their own planer as well. So they're able to do a lot of work. So they were looking to expand, and keep a hold of their company during COVID, and they fell upon this, which was to they do a lot of furniture themselves. So if you want to look for it, I'll see if I can find the name of the site and stick it at the end of the show. But they also do excuse me, they do their own furniture. They do chairs and tables and stuff like that. Well, I don't know about chairs, but they do tables and doors and charcuterie boards, and they do lazy susans, and they do a lot of stuff like that. So you have to check them out. So they came across doing this, which was to travel the country. I don't know whereabouts they do. I know they come as far down as Texas, and over the span of 2 or 3 days, they will have classes that you can sign up for, and you have to sign up in advance because they do the prep work, and you can do a lazy susan or you can do a charcuterie board. And so, excuse me, I'm gonna just show you right here what we're doing while I talk about it. Let's do it, and then at the very end, I'll do a quick talk about Moontower Cidery. So here we go. And welcome everybody. This is pouring epoxy. So out at the Moontower Cidery, Julia Takashita and I, unfortunately James couldn't make it. We're out there to pour some epoxy and have some cider. So this is a setup. This was right about 7 o'clock. You see Julia's up there looking at some of the powders. So what we did was we took this class to learn a little bit about how to pour epoxy. So that was a really good class. And there you see Sam and Colin, the people in charge doing the epoxy part. So this was a setup that we got already, with the foam around to lock in the board into the level that they wanted, into the spot they wanted. The blank space in the middle is called the river, which is where the epoxy resin gets poured. And you see that they are locked down so that the boards don't move while you're doing any of the pouring. Here's another shot of that. This one was mine, you see there, it's a black walnut, and it had some really cool seams to it. So what faces the river is basically where the bark was removed. The guys removed the bark and planed the wood, kilned it, did all that you need to have sure it's ready. So this is another shot. It's kind of a weird angle on it, but it's after I already poured my things. Now it looks like it's the same color, but it's not. The bottom below that cross piece of wood is actually Aztec gold, and above that is something called dragon's breath. So we'll see how it looks when it comes out. It looks nice together. So this is Julia's. She had a crack in the wood, which then you can add some filler epoxy resin to it, and she went with a pink iridescent and then a blue called Lagoon. So a really nice combination. I think it's going to look real nice. So after they let this dry and they take it back to their shops in Wisconsin, they're going to prep it, plane it on both sides, probably lose about 1/4 of an inch on both sides, or combined. I wasn't sure which one that was. And then they're going to turn this into a charcuterie. They're going to wax it up. They're going to, here's another shot of mine. They're going to wax it up. They're going to put feet on there, and they're going to put 2 handles on either side lengthwise, so it can become your charcuterie. And that will be our conversation pieces as we have charcuteries around. It does take 2 to 3 weeks to get this back, probably more on the 3-week side. Here is the colors, the powders that they use to add to the epoxy. So the epoxy was done off screen, and it turned out real nice. And so it was quite a bit of work, but I'm going to stay on this. This is the last photo I have here, but they mixed the resin for us, showed us how to pour, and then we did the pour ourselves. So whether it comes out nice or bad, that's on us because of how we poured it. But I think we did a good job, and really good shout out to the Midwest wood turners for having this out there. Hey everybody, it turns out I had more time than I thought, so that's perfect. So we're going to stop the pouring epoxy bit. We're going to get to spirit time, and our keynote drink today is cider, and let's look at Moontower Cidery. Spirit time. This week, Moontower Cider Company. Hey everybody, welcome to Moontower Cider Company. This is, and I apologize Moontower, I keep saying cidery, it's Cider Company. So this is out relatively South Austin. Everything is south to me, living in Cedar Park. But this is a great little location. They have a great outside sitting area, but the inside was used exclusively this Friday for the pour that we did. So that's why you see the table there with some setups. So I took a picture of the chalkboard that they had here, nicely done. With Moontower to go, you have cans and bottles and stuff like that, and you see the ones that are in the cans and the bottles. So it's a nice little setup. Really nice. It was very well ventilated. Nice air was passing through. We had the door open, and so it was really nice to get a flight in before I started to pour. So here's the flight. So you see there's a raspberry. I can't remember the full name of it. Maybe Moontower can watch this and let me know. That was top left. Top right is the Rosemary's Baby, which I get a kick out every time I say it. Bottom left is the luau, and bottom right is the heirloom. So I got a chance to taste all these, and I think my favorite was probably the Rosemary's Baby. It was a little tart, but it had a good amount of rosemary in it, but it was still it was quite refreshing. Heirloom wasn't bad either. It has an herbal taste to it, so if you like herbal, it's definitely something for you. And then the raspberry, which actually didn't look dark, was actually really good too. So overall, they were all really good. I just think they, if I could have had more time, it would have been great. I also got to taste their miel, which I don't have a picture of. That was what they call a Cider, which is actually a combination of cider with mead, which I've never heard of before, and it would also had I think they say a squeeze of lemon in it. But overall, fantastic. So if you haven't gone to Moontower and you're in the Austin area, I highly recommend it. Good job, Moontower. Hey everybody, and that's really our show. I got it in about 20 minutes. That's fantastic. So, thanks everyone for your feedback and comments and thoughts and suggestions. In fact, one of the suggestions that I got more than one of was to try to keep it under 30 minutes to keep you all interested in the show. So, I've been trying my best to keep the last three or four under 30 minutes or around 30 minutes. And so, let me know how that works out for you, if that's something you think would be a great timeline to have and not go beyond it. So, if you haven't seen the show before, this was it. I hope you liked it. Please let me know what you think. If you have seen the show before, it's gone through a lot of changes. Excuse me. I like to try to keep things fresh. So hopefully you've been watching and you'll let me know if you like something or you don't like something. Um, so if you have a mom and pop business in the Austin Cedar Park area, even if you don't, we can certainly connect up via Zoom. But if you have one in the area, I'd be more than happy to pop into your establishment, maybe have an interview with you. I can dedicate a whole show just to your mom and pop business, whatever it is, and we can go from there. Always looking to try to find somebody who will co-host. I know people might get tired of seeing my face day in, day out without somebody else. So if you are interested in doing a co-host for an episode or two, let me know, and we can certainly set up something so that we can have two cameras and go. Now that may go a little bit more than 30 minutes, but it might be worth it when there's someone else talking besides myself. Yes, I still have the cough. This is medically related. But thanks for asking. Also, the Zen Moment is something I come up with. This was one that I had two different people bring up to me. The Zen Moment is something that I bring up, I create on the fly while I'm actually doing the editing of the show on Sundays. I actually do the show on Sundays too. So I piece it all together, I edit it, and I get it ready for release on Sunday, mid to late afternoon, hopefully. Sometimes it's later, sometimes it's earlier. Yes, my hair does grow long like a chia pet, so that's why I like to wear the hat. Most episodes you will see me with the hat. It's getting pretty grungy right now, so just like the beard is getting kind of grungy, I keep it trim underneath, but the rest of it I just let it go wild for now until I can finish up a project I'm working on at work. So thanks for asking about that. I really have no limits. If you're wanting to talk about anything, the only two that I ask not to want to talk on the show, that I don't talk about on the show, is religion and politics. That gets a little hairy when it comes to friends and family and people I don't know who want to bring up that on my show. And I'd like to keep the show as religious and politically agnostic as I can, even though I use the word agnostic, and not really talk about politics or religion. There's plenty of other shows out there in the wild, aka the internet, that they have this. I don't need to rehash an old thing, so I will not. And it's been good. Great feedback on that as well. If you are looking to advertise on my show, I first time I've had somebody ask me that. Sure, if you'd like to send me your product or products and have me shill it for you, whether you get any additional sales or not, I'm still a small gathering of individuals. I hope to keep trying to grow this because I really enjoy doing it. 4 seasons in, maybe I can get something sooner rather than later, but if you'd like me to shill for you on my show, by all means, please send me your product or products and a little write down description of it, and I will certainly get it on the show. So that means that the people that I do the alcohol for are not paying me. So that is a free free gratis word placement for them, product placement as well. I try to hit different cider establishments, beer establishments, I haven't hit any whiskey distilleries, but I certainly have whiskey on the show. We've had multiple tastings and whatnot. So, oh, speaking of that, speaking of tastings, the tasting party that I was going to have this month fell through due to logistics. So I will try to have it next month, and that is supposed to be African beers. So again, anything you see on the Spirit Time is not advertising, as in I don't get paid for it. And if I don't get paid for it, I'm not advertising it. I'm just throwing it out there because some of the stuff's really good. Now, some of the stuff is really bad, and if you have a bad review, it is what it is. If you feel like, if you are in disagreement with my thumbs up and my brother Rob's thumbs up, you can certainly send us more of your product, and we'll taste it and see if we then change your mind. So send us free stuff. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, everybody. I hope you had a good Sunday afternoon. I hope you had a good week, and I hope your next week is a good week for you as well. So I will see you again next week. Thanks a lot, everybody.